Hello and welcome to Simple or Not Kitchen. Today in Simple or Not Kitchen we are making this delicious homemade pasta and we're making it from scratch. It's simple and delicious. And all we need to make this are 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs, some salt, and some olive oil. And although I'm using a stand mixer to make this, and I'm also using a pasta cutter that attaches to my stand mixer, you can do it by hand. We're going to start by adding 2 cups of flour to our stand mixer. And I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of seasoned salt to my flour. And by the way, I'm just using regular flour. You could, of course, use rice flour or just about any other kind of flour. And to my flour, I'm going to be adding 3 eggs. So I'm just going to crack those eggs into a bowl and then I'll be adding them to my flour. Once my eggs have been added to my flour, I'm going to turn the mixer back on and mix on low speed. And I'll also be adding about a teaspoon of olive oil. And we're just going to let this mix until the dough comes together. And if it seems like it's a little bit dry and not coming together, you can add a teaspoon or so of water to the mix or a little more olive oil. When the dough starts to hold together, then it's ready to work with. At this point, our dough is ready to be kneaded, and we're going to go ahead and just knead it a few times, just so that it comes together really nicely. Once our dough has been kneaded, it's time to go ahead and start rolling it out and making pasta. So I'm going to do this in sections. I'm going to cut our dough into 4 sections and then work each piece individually. And each piece of dough will give us probably about 2 to 3 servings of pasta. And with each section, we're just going to roll it until it's thin enough to go through the rollers of the pasta maker. If we weren't using the pasta rollers and we're just going to do it by hand, we would just keep rolling until it's the desired thickness. It would take a little bit longer. The pasta rollers do make it go a little bit faster, but this can be done by hand, and I've done it by hand many, many times. It just takes time and a little bit of arm strength. But we are going to use the pasta roller that connects to my stand mixer, and this one adjusts so that it has several different options for thickness or thinness of the pasta. And then we're going to take our first piece of pasta and we're going to put it through the rollers, and we're going to do this several times, folding it a few times as it goes through, and we're just going to let it go through the pasta roller until it's our desired thickness. And after our pasta goes through the pasta rollers a few times, then it's time to put it through the cutters. I'm going to use the fettuccine setting for this first section of dough. The fettuccine setting it gives the size noodles that I really like when I'm making like a chicken noodle soup. And I don't have a pasta drying rack. So what I'm going to do, I have 2 ways of drying my pasta. My first is to just put them over like a wire rack, or sometimes I'll even use my stand mixer. I'll just hang them and arrange them. The other way is to just arrange them in little piles on a cutting board or a baking sheet until they're dry. And with our first couple batches of pasta drying, I'm going to go ahead and take another section and roll it out and cut it into spaghetti-sized pieces. Making your own pasta is so fun and relaxing, and although it might not save you a whole lot of money, making your own pasta is pretty inexpensive in the grocery store, but it sure is a lot better, and it's very relaxing. And making pasta, it's like making bread. You do it for the love of pasta, not so much for the money savings. After we finished cutting our pasta, we're going to go ahead and dry it a little bit, and when it's dry, it's ready to store. And we're going to store our dried pasta in the freezer in freezer bags. I like to make little labels for the freezer bags so that people know how to heat up the pasta. It basically just boils like regular pasta in salted boiling water. And I like to put a little label on there. I do give homemade pasta as gifts quite a bit, and my daughter is married and she and her wife live near close by. I'll sometimes take a few bags of pasta over to them for dinner as well. So those little labels are nice because it lets people know exactly how long to cook the pasta. And this pasta is super versatile. It cooks up really quickly, and you can pair it with your favorite pasta sauce. I actually like to eat it with just a little bit of butter, some seasoned salt, and some Parmesan cheese. It's also really good with a yummy peanut sauce. We make our own peanut sauce, and sometimes we'll mix the noodles with the peanut sauce and add a little bit of chicken, and it is so delicious. Thank you for watching Simple or Not Kitchen. More recipes, articles, and video are online at PennellCentral.com.